And so, to the next instalment of the story, framed like all sequels by what's preceded it, the glory, the failures, and pretty much everything in between. The high, the lows, the 56 years of hurt. The last chapter brought the nearest of near misses on the most agonising and gut-wrenching of Wembley summer nights. The cruelest of endings to a wonderful journey. But now the page is turned, and the calm before the sandstorm ends here. The waiting over, and as it starts, you can afford yourself that hope, no matter how battle-scarred you may be by previous crushing conclusions. Hope prevalent that the longest, most interminable wait of them all will also finally end with a glorious moment unparalleled in the lifespan of many England fans, that the oasis will be found in this desert on the banks of the Persian Gulf. And these are the moments that will be forever remembered, whether they captivate or exasperate. These tournament games are ones that become indelibly etched on the psyche. Close your eyes and you can visualise those that have shaped the past. Hurst and Moore, Banks from Pelé, the hand of God, Gazza's tears, penalties, Owen's fearlessness of youth, more penalties, Ronaldinho, the ghost goal, Colombia, and Croatian heartbreak. On-field impulses and split-second decisions that immediately become reference points for future generations. And now the snapshot images of tomorrow will be born in matches that will live on forever, for better, for worse, where reputations can be made and heroes forged, as the latest crop of three lions pen their own instalment of this absorbing World Cup tale. And this is how England line up for the first game of the 2022 World Cup. Pickford in goal, Trippier, Stones, Maguire and Shaw, Rice, Bellingham and Mount, Saka, Kane, Sterling. On the bench, Walker, Dyer, Cody, Alexander-Arnold and White, Henderson, Phillips, Foden, Gallagher, Grealish, Rashford, Wilson, Pope and Ramsdale. Iran, Bayram Band in goal, Sadek Mahrami at right back, Pirali Ganji, Hosseini and Milad Mahrami. Nuralahi, Cheshmi and Hashtafi, Jahanbash, Taremi and Karimi. And the referee is Rafael Klaus from Brazil, who takes charge of his first World Cup game. And before the game starts, England players take the knee, a visual and symbolic reminder of their stance against discrimination and that there is no room for racism. Will the three lions stand where they've stood so often before, 7 games away from glory, hoping this is the first step towards footballing immortality? Their 2022 World Cup campaign is underway, so sit back and let the history unfold. Alongside me, former World Cup semi-finalist Stuart Pearce. Good afternoon to you, Stu. It is, as we thought it might be, a back 5 for Iran, something they haven't done in an international for at least 5 years.
Yeah, quite understandable, I think, the magnitude of the game and the task they're facing against England, the favourites to win the group. They'll want to come away with something from this game if they possibly can, and obviously decided to deploy that 5-man at the back. I think it's really important England move the ball nice and quickly, try and get it from side to side and get some one-on-ones if possible.
England, white shirts, star blue shorts, they're kicking from left to right. Iran in all red with some white trim. And the ball laid back by Stones for Maguire, who will bring it forward over the halfway line. 15 yards into Iranian territory. Played out towards Luke Shaw. Shaw back for Declan Rice. And down inside the centre circle again for Stones. So Trippier had made an early run forward to the right-hand side of the penalty area, but it's laid back instead for Jude Bellingham. They're becoming the first teenager to play for England at both the Euros and the World Cup, while still a teenager. Trippier. Back for Bellingham again, wearing 22. Quick exchange of passes between him and Saka, and England with all the possession inside the opening couple of minutes. The Iranians haven't had a worthwhile kick as yet. Just getting an early feel for it. Now Bellingham looking to switch it. Long ball over the top from him for Trippier. Right-footed ball inside the penalty area. Headed away. Cleared out only as far as Bellingham again, just outside the edge of the D. Rice back for Kieran Trippier, whose ball forward is deflected. Opportunity to try and work it inside the penalty area is passed up by Mason Mount, who lets it run out of play for England's first corner.
Whilst England are going to have great opportunities to keep the ball at the back and move it from side to side, they cannot turn the opportunity down of going forward every opportunity they possibly can. And to do that, they're going to have to get both our fullbacks near enough level with Harry Kane on that line across there, as high as they humanly can.
It's Kieran Trippier that goes across to take the corner. There are 2 inside the 6-yard box. Kane waits on the edge of the 6, and then 3 more in a line on the edge of the penalty area, waiting to make runs to attack this, including Maguire, who's trying to get free towards the back post. Plenty of holding going on. Stones was wrestled to the ground. There's a big appeal. Both Stones and Maguire went to ground, and it is something that the VAR directive, as we understand it, is that there are going to be big inquests. It should be a penalty because Cheshme's got his arms around Maguire.
It's a penalty.
As play restarts, the referee then puts whistle to mouth and says, just wait, they're having a look at the incident. Now it is Leodan Gonzalez from Uruguay who is the VAR. Stones ended up on the deck. Cheshme had no interest in the ball. All he was trying to do was lean into Maguire and stop him making a run towards the ball. That's 2 penalties, really. I think there's a penalty. Both Stones and Maguire were fouled.
He's given a goal kick here, which is a disgraceful decision. I always like to back referees, but that is a penalty, I'm afraid to say.
Okay, so the bar is now set for the tournament. So if that is an incident that is always passed up, that's fine. But it won't be. I wouldn't imagine.
It's a really, really poor decision in the game, I think.
4 minutes in and already controversy. But a good start from England. And I would suggest on the back of that, they need to get as many set pieces as they can. Ball is in the hands of the experienced goalkeeper, Alireza Beirunvan, to save Ronaldo's penalty against Portugal in the last World Cup. He's got a spectacular long throw. He didn't see him then. He just tried to drill the ball forward into the left wing position for the Iranians. They went straight out of play for a throw, which has been taken quickly. Trippier with a slightly loose ball across the midfield, which was still fielded by Maguire. Now Declan Rice has it. 20 yards inside his own half. He's played it for Stones. Stones has got Saka on the right flank. Bellingham making a good run forward for him. Saka just plays the way that he's facing. Goes back for Stones again. Stones to Maguire, and Trippier waiting for the ball out on the left. We'll get an official possession statistic in a few minutes' time. I would imagine it's in the mid-80s, if not higher than that, for England on the strength of what we've seen so far. It's one-way traffic, but the Iranians play this way, a low block with an eye on fast counters, playing the 5-1-3-1 formation here. So plenty of bodies back behind the ball, and they'll do everything they can to turn over possession and get it into the feet of Taremi and try and get him having a run in between Stones and Maguire. But at the moment it's been easy for England, who will try and get the ball between the lines again. Out towards Luke Shaw. Left wing cross comes in for him. Saka at the far post couldn't get there. Steered away. Rice couldn't pick up the pieces around the edge of the penalty area, but England maintained the ball inside Iranian territory. And Stones will play it for Trippier again. Trippier's ball deflecting off Milad Mahrami, the left back. Saka chasing after it and hassling Karimi. He'll take it down towards his own dead ball line. In the end, turns it away, trying to buy the throw. He didn't take a deflection off Bukayo Saka, and England have a throw about 10 yards from the corner flag. Good, bright, promising start. 6 minutes in on TalkSport, it's 0-0.
Yeah, I was just going to make that point. I think it's been a really good start for England. Plenty of possession on the ball, but they're not just playing possession football. They are looking to probe, get it forward. But the big thing for me is our fullbacks. They've got to get very, very high as early as they can and give that option for diagonal balls to wide areas. They're the ones with a little bit of space at the moment.
Well, the possession is 91-9 in England's favour at the moment, but now it's been turned over, although Saka's been fouled. And Rafael Claus, the Brazilian referee, has given England a free kick. We feel that he and his VAR colleague should have given England a penalty for some wrestling going on as England attacked a corner 3 or 4 minutes into the game. But he has blown in England's favour here, a free kick that Trippier will take. That's much nearer halfway than the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, I think this is the thing that frustrates the life out of me.
As the free kick is taken short and intelligently, and Kane whips it in, and coming in at the back post. There's no chance for Harry Maguire to be able to get a touch from a very tight angle to turn it goal bound, and there's been a collision between the Iranian goalkeeper and defender inside the 6-yard box, and both Bayram-Van and Hosseini are going to need a little bit of treatment here. Good free kick though. Yeah,
top quality there. Trippier identifying Kane's movement just out wide, and he's crossing. The goalkeeper's just got a touch on it as it flashed across the face of the 6-yard box, and that was just enough to take it away from Raheem Sterling, who had a simple header from about 5 yards otherwise. Great start from England, really good. The point I was making earlier about the VAR, I think if a referee, there's a skirmish in the box and there is no VAR, you think, well, the referee's not seen it. When we've seen the pictures that we have, Jim, it's physically impossible to think there's not a penalty there, because the Iranian defender literally, he had his arms wrapped around Maguire, his hands were wrapped around and locked on the other side of Maguire's waist, and then brought him to the ground. It astounds me.
Well, as is always talked about, it is the observation of a clear and obvious error is what they're looking for, and that surely was a clear and obvious error. I can understand that the referee can't look everywhere. He's naturally going to follow the flight of the ball as it comes in, but that, to my mind, is the type of incident that VAR was invented for, and is probably let England down there. But as I mentioned at the time, it's talking about consistency, and I have to make sure that that incident is going to be ignored throughout the course of the tournament. He's still not missing anything because of the continuation of treatment for Ali Reza Bayram-Van, the Iranian goalkeeper. So let me remind you that coming up tomorrow morning, TalkSport Breakfast live from Qatar with Laura Woods and Ali McCoist. Gabby Agbonlahor, part of our team, of course. Former England striker off the back of the Three Lions opener today, with them between 7 and 9 tomorrow. But Laura and Ali starting at 6. Followed, of course, by the magnificent White and Jordan. Join Jim and Simon live from Qatar tomorrow morning between 10 and 12. And then the small matter of 3 games back-to-back live on TalkSport. Denmark-Tunisia from 1. Mexico-Poland from 4, France against Australia from 7, and we'll also bring you the opening game tomorrow, Argentina against Saudi Arabia. That kicks off at 10 o'clock your time. That's live on TalkSport 2, and that is also live tomorrow. We've got all 64 games from the tournament on the TalkSport network, amongst 450 that we will bring you over the course of the season, including the other game in this group later today, USA against Wales, with Dean Saunders alongside Nigel Adley. It's a 7 p.m. kickoff here on TalkSport, and Senegal against Netherlands is on TalkSport 2, and a 4 o'clock kickoff here on TalkSport. As always, bring your choice of listening, and you'll be able to hear the fallout to this England performance, this England result, whatever happens. We're 10 and a half minutes in, probably only seen about 6 minutes of action so far. Carlos Queiroz, I think, will be quite glad for this break, because his side will be able to try and work out how they're going to get a touch of the ball. They are warming up the substitute goalkeeper, Hosseini, who's yet to make his competitive debut. That's got 7 caps behind him. He's out warming up at the moment. Bayram-Van that's still down, receiving treatment just outside the 6-yard box.
Yeah, I think he got quite a blow on his nose. There's some blood coming, obviously, from his nose, and I'm not sure whether he went into the game with a slightly crooked snout, but he certainly got one now.
Yeah, everybody needs a reminder of the tournaments that they played in, don't they? He's got one now.
I hope you're looking beyond me to deck.
I can't see past your nose, to be honest. Let's go down pitch side behind the goal. And TalkSport's England correspondent Faye Carruthers is down there. Faye, you've got eyes on Gareth Southgate from where you are.
Yeah, he's just spent quite a long time having a conflab with a number of his players, including quite a long one with John Stones and Harry Maguire, no doubt saying, OK, if that's the case, and this blocking that I talked to Gareth Southgate about yesterday isn't going to be implemented like this, let's use it to our advantage. Jordan Pickford just having a chat with Kieran Trippier at the moment, and have taken some swigs of his water bottle as well, but obviously the players just need to try and keep themselves warm, maybe take on a little bit more direction from the coaching team, which they are.
Now that's a good point, actually, about the blocking. It's something that Mark Clattenburg was talking about yesterday, saying that referees were under FIFA orders to block the blockers. Now, if that had been the other way round, and if that had been John Stones or Harry Maguire wrestling one of the Iranian defenders to stop him being able to mark Harry Kane, say, coming in, then a free kick is going to be given to the defending side. So that's where you need the consistency, and I know we're banging on about it whilst this treatment continues, but it is a ludicrous decision, really, not to award a penalty for what we saw.
Jim, there's no excuse with TV cameras. That's what VAR was brought in for, so people can have a look at it in varying angles and make a decision away from the intensity of the pitch that the referee might miss, which is fine. But they've certainly not even gone to the referee and asked him to have a look at that. I'm surprised at that.
Well, Behren Vand, the Iranian goalkeeper, is back on his feet. He's trying to walk towards his goal. He's got his captain, Had Safi, who's got a bottle of water in his hand, physically throwing water at him. I would suggest to a very untrained medical eye that he is a study in concussion, but I don't know. We'll find out whether they're going to let him continue or not. And Hosseini continues to warm up. He is actually one of 3 substitute Iranian goalkeepers today. Keros has named only a 25-man squad, and there are 4 keepers in there. He's taken his shirt off and is putting another shirt on, so that indicates he's going to be okay. There's obviously a little bit of blood on the first shirt, and as a consequence he has to change it. But that would suggest they're going to change his shorts as well. That would suggest that he is going to be able to continue for now, certainly. But we're 13 minutes into a contest which has probably seen 6 or 7 minutes worth of action so far. There's going to be a lengthy period of stoppage time. So from an England point of view, when you've had such a good start and you build up the momentum and you then get a long stoppage like this, how do you deal with it?
Well, from a conditioning point of view, you've got to make sure that the players are keeping on the move, keeping fresh, keeping mentally fresh as much as anything. I was just going to go on from a technical point of view. I think Jude Bellingham has been very bright in the early stages, wanting to get on the ball, wanting to get touches of the ball. I always find with Deck as well, when plays easy and the defenders, centre-halves have got the ball having worked with Deck, sometimes he comes a little bit too deep beyond the striker to come and get a feel of the ball. That's when, as a holding midfield player, you need to keep your discipline, stay up the pitch and receive it beyond the striker if humanly possible.
Well, the Iranian medical team are still down inside the 6-yard box. They're now sorting Behren Vand's gloves out for him. But the captain has finally vacated the scene. And we are in danger of actually getting a little football in here at the Khalifa Stadium in Al Rayyan. And the boos you can hear are for the huge amount of time that has been taken. It is time that is going to be added on. I'm still not convinced he's fit to play. He must have passed the appropriate concussion protocols to be allowed to continue. There's no way that there was any danger to his health, or he wasn't in a fit state to continue, he would be allowed to. You wouldn't think.
No. If I was Harry Kane now, I'd stand on the edge of the box and put pressure on this goal kick. I really would. He's taken that long to sort himself out, the cat.
Okay, so we're back underway after a 7.5-minute delay. It's still 0-0 here on TalkSport, and England straight away from the goal kick turn over possession. And will be able to bring it forward again towards the edge of the penalty area. It's laid back for Rice. And Rice in turn to the dark-haired, thick-set Harry Maguire. Stones alongside him, winning his 60th cap for England today, but Maguire has just turned away. Tareem Mee will chase after him. He's drilled it in and a slightly bobbling ball towards Luke Shaw at left back, but he's got a throw out of it, which will be taken over on that far side. And yeah, he's not going to be able to continue. As we expected, he's now down on one knee and is sitting down and now lies on his back. So there's going to be a further delay, and Behren Vand, having passed the medical diagnoses that he's going to be okay, has lasted only another 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, as I say, he couldn't go on. Carlos Queiroz just putting his hands on his head there. It's a big blow for them, losing your goalkeeper this early on in the game.
And he's going to, in fact, have to be stretched off by the look of it, which is even greater concern for blue-vested stretcher bearers making their way down towards the corner flag and being waved on by the assistant referee. And Berenvan's not going to be able to leave the field under his own steam. Clearly picked up a really hefty knock. Berenvan, who did play at the last World Cup, as I mentioned, a goalkeeper who's got a prolific long throw. He's actually got the world record for the longest throw in a competitive game. He's thrown it 200 feet, which is a pretty decent effort. We're not going to be seeing that today. Now we are going to be seeing the competitive debut of Hosseini, who at one stage in his career went more than 14 and a half hours without conceding a goal in the Iranian league. Well, you know how it is. You wait 4.5 years for a World Cup to turn up, and then you've just got minute after minute after minute of treatment being administered.
Jim, I think any sympathy for the goalkeeper's waning. He literally at the moment is 4 yards from the touchline where he could just walk off. He's been on his feet after the injury and he's decided to get on a stretcher and probably walk from there. The stretcher bearers will take him straight across the pitch. My goodness me. They don't make them like they used to, fella, as they say.
No, they certainly don't. So Hosseini is just getting a fist bump from Carlos Queiroz, who's seen it all before, of course. This is 4th World Cup. He was in charge of Portugal, who he led out of the group stage back in 2010. And he's also been in charge of the Iranians in both 2014 and 2018, although they didn't progress from the group stage in either of those and won only once in the process, which was a win against Morocco last time out. It is a suspected concussion, understandably, and as such it's going to be a concussion substitution as opposed to one of the 5. So Hosseini coming on for Berenvan. Change being made 19 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it astounds me. In about 60, 70 minutes time, Jim, a substitution will be made and they'll tell the substitute to go off the far side of the pitch near the touchline. The stretcher bearers have just walked the stretcher from the far side of the penalty box right across the pitch. And off this side, the game astounds me at times.
So Hosseini is on, and we're back underway again with Trippier playing it forward for Bukayo Saka for England on halfway, and again playing the way that he's facing. There have been more minutes lost to treatment to the goalkeeper so far than the Iranians have played successful passes. England work it forward. Sterling trying to get Bellingham in towards the edge of the penalty area. This is where Iran might potentially be dangerous as they get it forward on the counter-attack. Jahanbakhsh working it forward through the midfield. England quickly got the shape back right behind the ball. No thoughts of a counter-attack really. Jahanbakhsh not the quickest. He had Taremi ahead of him, but England can get it back for Jordan Pickford. Headed back forward again, and Stones just dallying a little bit. Came out, Taremi came to meet it. Collision between the pair of them. Taremi onside because Stones didn't push forward in conjunction with the other defenders. Now the Iranians don't get a free kick, but they have got possession with Milad Mahrami on the left-hand side, and the left-back wins the throw for Iran, who ventured into England territory for the first time with 20 minutes on the clock. Still 0-0 here on TalkSport, but expect a thick end of 10 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. Now a free kick is given for an injudicious lunge by Bellingham, and a free kick that will be taken. Hassafi, the captain, has won it just a yard in from the left-hand touchline and almost level the edge of the box.
Really important when you have the ascendancy in possession, that when that changes and free kicks of this ilk come in, concentration has to be of high standard, because you get in a mentality, isn't this game comfortable, we've got all the ball, we're just waiting to score a goal, and then wham, you lose your runner or something of that ilk potentially might happen.
So Jahanbakhsh stands over it. Hadjisafi, the captain, as well. Hands on hips. There'll be a left-footed away swinger from him, or potentially a right-footed in swinger from the former Brighton man who threatened to make a darting run. Now he comes back and takes it himself. It's half cleared. Trippier spoons it out of the edge of the penalty area. Naralahi getting it back. It's a very deep cross, a little bit too deep. Will still be recycled on the left by Jahanbakhsh, but he's lost out to Saka. Saka with a good little 1-2 with Mason Mount, and he wins the throw. Well, this World Cup starting the Same way as the last one did, with the opposition goalkeeper going off early in the game. You might remember that in the first game against Tunisia back in 2018. Louis Hassan, the man that went off injured on that occasion. England winning by 2-1 to get off to a winning start last time, but needed a 90th minute winner from Harry Kane to do it. They've actually only lost one of their last 7 opening games at the World Cup, which was the one that was played in Manaus in the Brazilian rainforest against Italy back in 2014. Just looking at Luke Shaw's position there, I think he should be more advanced. He's probably 20 metres too deep. He needs to advance a bit more. That will give the opportunity for Sterling just to come to a little pocket of space and ask more questions of the back line, the back 5. Now Brazilian referee has given England a free kick for a foul by Nuralahi. He's the man coming to meet the ball. Nuralahi just gave him a shove. England take the free kick over on the left-hand touchline. And then a very clever touch from Matt will get it forward towards Shaw. And Shaw will continue his run down the left-hand side. A chance to deliver with 3 waiting in the penalty area. Bellingham coming to meet it after the initial cross was deflected. And the Iranians sweep up. Pirali Ganji can knock it away and out of play for a throw, which will be taken again on the England left-hand side. Midway through the first period here on TalkSport, your World Cup station. And it's 0-0.
Yeah, really good play there. That's better from Shaw. His position in the build-up was more advanced. Good little 1-2. Got in behind. Just got his cross block. But good play. And Mount's taken up some really good movements as well from that inside left position. Just darting in behind into the point of the penalty box, basically, to receive.
Only about 15 or so minutes away from dusk here in Al Rayyan at the Khalifa International Stadium. For all of England's possession, they're yet to create a worthwhile shot on either goalkeeper's goal. And the Baron Vandal, the man that has replaced him, Hosseini, but as I mentioned, for all the fact that we played 24 minutes, we probably only played about 14 minutes of football. Maguire heads the ball away, finds Rice. Rice down to the England left, where Shaw will feed it back to him, and he was caught in the process by Jahanbash, who picks up the first yellow card of the game. Reza Jahanbash, the man cautioned.
I think it's really important with the game and the possession we got. I've been really pleased with the possession, how everyone's settled into it, looked very comfortable on the ball, but we can't lose the intensity and the ability to play forward at every opportunity.
Stones for Bellingham. And now Rice. It's not played at a sparkling tempo by England as Mason Mount makes his way forward, and he was tripped on his way through by Karimi. It's a steady tempo rather than spectacular. It's not pedestrian by any stretch of the imagination. Trippier will push forward to take this free kick.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of niggly fouls potentially from the Iranians, but it's important that we get on the ball really quickly and play the ball quickly.
And Trippier looking for that same free kick that we saw earlier, down the inside right channel for a run from Harry Kane. It was red on that occasion, almost found its way through. And then Taremi trying to get the better of Trippier, has just siphoned it out of play. Taremi going down, claiming that he was fouled, and Trippier disdainfully waved him back to his feet. Taremi, who's got an excellent record, 13 goals for Porto already this season, and scored 8 in qualifying. He's the man that missed a great late chance to win the game against Portugal and win the group back in the 2018 World Cup, where they came just about a foot or so away from finishing ahead of Spain and Portugal. Now ranked in the top 20 in the world, but England dominating proceedings without having a cutting edge at the moment. Saka can't find a way through. It's knocked away by the back line again. This time the free kick's been given Iran's way. And it's Karimi who is down hurt. Saka just with a quick change of feet. And there was very minimal contact between Saka and Karimi, but he's down, he's holding his knee, and he too might be in need of treatment. 26 minutes in. Stop-start's an understatement, Stuart Pearce. It's 0-0.
Yeah, I think the stop-start nature of the game so far certainly would benefit the Iranians more than the England team at present, and it's important that we keep the tempo of this game up.
England turning over possession again. Kane just trying to get his foot to it to poke it through. Mount might be able to find Saka, who can receive it on the edge of the penalty area. Left-footed, cross-punch shot was a miss hit really, and just bobbled its way through for Hosseini, the substitute Iranian goalkeeper. It will go down as a shot on target, and there have been precious few of those, but it remains 0-0. And a lofty vantage point here, you can feel a little bit of a breeze. The conditions certainly conducive to good football. Decent watered surface, nice temperature. It's not airless by any stretch of the imagination, not too hot, and as I mentioned, the night's going to be falling and will have fallen by the time the second half starts. We would talk sport where we're still waiting for England's first real stellar move of this World Cup. Saka's been caught here, and another free kick has gone England's way inside their own half. Gareth Southgate at the edge of the technical area is just down, hands outstretched for a moment. Let's go back pitch side. Faye Carruthers, our England correspondent, is behind the goal away to our left-hand side. Faye, what have you spotted?
Well, perfect conditions, as you say, Jim. Actually, it's been really nice and cool down here. A little bit chilly, actually, but the players needed to keep themselves warm after that moment there. And Jordan Pickford actually came over at one point, looked at me, looked at his watch and started laughing and rolled his eyes.
Oh, the goalkeepers union, they know all the tricks, don't they? Here's Trippier. Trippier back for Maguire. He will make his way to the left of John Stones and will be played in now. Maguire turning it back for Stones once more. Harry Maguire just glad to be getting some first team action. He only started one of the last 12 of Manchester United's Premier League games. Going to be played for by Stones out to Luke Shaw again. Making only his second appearance at a World Cup, his first coming against Costa Rica in a dead rubber in that hugely disappointing campaign in Brazil in 2014. Trippier down the line here for Saka. Saka might be able to get to the byline. He's actually checked and worked it back the other way with Trippier in support, and the red shirts converge on the pair of them. Trippier threading it through neatly. Good ball round the corner. Saka trying to get it in after Sterling's good work, and a shot into the side netting came from Mason Mount. That was better from England, more incision inside the Iranian final third, but not a shot on target at the end of it.
No, really good play by England then. Everyone looking pretty comfortable in possession of the ball. England playing some really good stuff, and a little reverse pass around the corner from Sterling to Saka, and his cross was just slightly behind Mount. And it's important that England, on the build-up, that they're building up with basically 2-3-5. They've got to have, when you look across that back line of Iran, you've got to see 5 English players with the make-up of the front 3 and probably the 2 full-backs making up the 5 players.
Ball out of play for an Iran throw. It's the first ever meeting between these two nations. In fact, England have only ever played Asian opposition at the World Cup once in the past, which was a 1-0 win against Kuwait back in 1982 when Trevor Francis scored the winner. And about this stage of the game, England trying to play out from the back, and Bellingham with a poor touch survived it, and the Iranians were furious because they found that there was a foul, and England can now break and try and break quickly. They got in between the lines for a moment. Iran have got 10 back behind the ball, but it's fired in now. Trippier right hand side of the penalty, pulls it back. Kane trying to head it on, bounces awkwardly but away from an England player. Now towards Jude Bellingham. Bellingham now to Trippier. Trippier to the corner of the penalty area where Sterling's quick feet got the better of carrying me. He ends up with a corner. England caused mayhem from the first one. We thought should have had a penalty. What will happen from this second one?
Yeah, good opportunity here. Some really good play there. And once again, great crossfield pass to Trippier, who got in a really good advanced area for a fullback. Built up play, and then Sterling's ability to nip past the player and just managed to get cut out with a good defensive challenge. But I think any set play, we should really fancy our chances, put pressure on them, good movement from our players.
Well, let's hope the officials are watching everything that's going on this time. Harry Mee and Declan Rice are just having a word with each other inside the 6-yard box. Trippier raises a tattooed right arm, just indicating exactly where this ball is going to be played to his teammates. Saka is showing for a short one. I'm sure that Trippier is going to fire this straight in. Sterling waits on the edge of the 6. Harry Kane making a run as well. Fired in there, he's headed off the post. And England inches away from taking the lead. The old familiar story of England's success from a set piece very nearly coming to fruition again. Ball fired into the congested penalty area, and England inches away from the perfect start. Iran will bring the ball forward now and lose it, and he goes out of play for a throw, but Harry Maguire could not have come closer.
Absolutely super header there by Harry Maguire. Great movement from him, wanted it more than anybody else, and he's just got there, skimmed off his head and just hit the crossbar, and out it come. No one there to tap in the rebound.
He scored 5 international goals in 2021, Harry Maguire. He's got more for his country than any other defender in Three Lions history, and he very nearly added another World Cup goal to his tally there, having netted against Sweden in the quarters back in 2018. Great movement, just too high for Stones, but Maguire coming in behind him, turned the header towards the top left-hand corner, and it came smack off the bar.
So fantastic contribution, 2 corners. Maguire, in my opinion, has been brought down for a penalty, but not given, and hit the crossbar on the other occasion.
And Jordan Pickford, I understand, actually celebrated from his view. He thought 100 yards away that it had gone in, but it didn't. It remains 0-0. Luke Shaw back out to the left-hand side for Sterling, and Rice will pick it up in the centre of midfield, down to Kieran Trippier. Trippier poking it down the line. Bukayo Saka will chase after it. Should be relatively easy to defend. Trying to be turning it forward, but only as far as Jude Bellingham. Bellingham a yard in off the right-hand touchline. Goes back for Kieran Trippier again. Trippier back to Stones, and Maguire brings it forward, and all of the England outfield players are in Iranian territory now. Pickford well outside his penalty area to try and take a look at what's going on. He's been a spectator. I don't think he's had the ball in his hands at all. With 34 minutes in to what will be an elongated first half. England have hit the bar and should have had a penalty. Shaw firing it in. Bellingham! 1-0 England! And the immensely talented teenager is off and running on his World Cup debut. Heading the ball into the top right-hand corner. The perfect start for England's 2022 World Cup campaign. It is richly deserved. England on top from the very first whistle. The goal has been coming, and Jude Bellingham provides it. Stands, hands outstretched, takes the adulation from the travelling England support. England are off and running in 2022.
I've got to say, massive credit's got to go to Harry Maguire. From the offset, I think the 2 efforts from the corner has given him great confidence, picked the ball up, travelled with it and broke the lines with a wonderful pass, and from that moment on Iran were in a bit of trouble. Defence turned, and Bellingham's movement arriving at a fantastic time and just glanced it on. Goalkeeper no chance. England 1-0.
Well, that really will settle the nerves, because there's nothing worse, I would imagine, than being in a game where you're dominating possession and really dominating it. You're not creating too many chances, where you've had one that hasn't gone in, where you feel that a little bit of luck has gone against you as well, and there's been a poor decision, and you're not on top. But then when you do find the breakthrough, you really feel as though you're set. That feels like a big platform now for England, and it is a rare first half goal. England on the front foot again. Kane outside him. The ball just overhit, too much on it for the run of Mason Mount, and that was a half-promising position that something more could have been made of. It was a wonderful ball, flied it in by Luke Shaw. And Jude Bellingham just stole a march on Hosseini, came to meet it, swiveled, flicked his head, and curved it into the top right-hand corner. A delicious finish.
Going back to my point earlier, the key to games like this, when teams are banking up like they do, is getting your fullbacks in really advanced early positions. And I tell you what, from an ex-left back, that cross by Shaw was absolutely magnificent.
Exactly what you need from an attacking fullback, and Luke Shaw provided it. Jude Bellingham doing the rest. His first goal for his country, and what a time to score it. A man with a habit of finding the net on the big occasions these days. He scored in his first 4 Champions League games this season. His first ever tournament start. And the 19-year-old from the Midlands has given England the lead. As I mentioned, they hadn't scored in the first half of any of the previous 6 games, which was their longest run without a first half goal since 1985. Bellingham has it again here. Bellingham will go down to his right-hand side for Kieran Trippier. Good movement behind him from Stones, who offered himself for the pass. Saw that Trippier potentially was going to go down a blind alley. Kane trying to flick it on. England have to make sure they're not caught in possession here inside their own half, but there's a handball in there by Cheshme, and it's going to be a free kick which will be taken by England. Well, Faker others are down behind the other goal, the one that Jordan Pickford is defending. He celebrated when Harry Maguire nearly scored. How was he when that went in?
Oh, he went absolutely crazy, Jim, as you can imagine, punching the air, jumping up and then looking around at all the England fans who started singing Hey Jude when it went in the back of the net.
Hey Jude, he hasn't let them down. Second youngest England goal scorer at a World Cup, behind only Michael Owen. Here's Trippier on the England right-hand side. England leading 1-0. Bellingham, born for the big occasions. Look at him now with a lovely pirouette and little 1-2 around the edge of the penalty area with Sterling. And his industry unrewarded. He's unlucky. It's gone out of play for a throw that the Iranians will take on the left-back position. Every tournament that England do half well in, there is somebody that steps forward and really has their the mantle within the team exaggerated by what they've achieved. And I know we're still in the first half of the first game, but it might just be Jude Bellingham this time.
I think England or not, anyone that's going to go to the advanced stages of any major cup competition, someone will spring out, and quite often someone that you don't expect. I don't think there's any surprises if Jude Bellingham has a wonderful tournament this time out. I was expecting it 15 months ago. He's certainly made a good start.
Yeah, 3 substitute appearances in the Euros, starting today and scoring today as the lights come on the big arch over on the far touchline of the stadium here in Al Rayyan. And the Iranians will be able to bring it forward. Now they have it in the midfield. Nuralahi trying to work it out towards Johan Bash, right-footed ball inside the penalty area from him, and sliding in Declan Rice was going to go out of play for a corner. Maguire stopped that happening, calmly side-footed it to Bellingham on the edge of his own penalty area. He worked it back for Shaw, and Shaw will clear forward through the midfield. England winning plenty of second ball at the moment, and Manstone really was a great exhibition of strength and a wonderful crossfield ball on the turn to pick out Trippier. It's the pass of the tournament so far. Saka making his way down the right is judged to have fouled Mahrami. Wasn't how many saw it, but it has been given as a free kick Iran's way inside their own box. 40 minutes gone, probably 9 or 10 minutes of first time stoppage time to be added. England, very good value for a 1-0 lead against Iran here on TalkSport. Here's the former England captain, Stuart Pearce.
I think they've approached the game in a brilliant manner from kick-off. They've been really confident on the ball. I would say on occasion they've really took liberties sort of playing out from the back, but they're so comfortable from 1 to 11 in possession of the ball. They're happy to trust each other with the ball, which is brilliant. Big one for me, don't lose the intensity. We've got our nose in front now, but keep asking questions of the Iranians.
Maguire and Stones passing axis is one that has been well used so far. Remember, the other game in this group is live for you on TalkSport later today. The United States taking on Wales. We've got it for you live right here. It kicks off at 7 o'clock your time. Nigel Adley and Dean Saunders talking through the action. Will England be top of the group by then? They are at the moment as things stand. With Kane in possession inside Iranian territory. And the ball is worked out to the England left-hand side again for Shaw. Shaw to Rice, Bellingham to Stones, who's made his way forward as he loves to do with Manchester City, and he's given licence to by Gareth Southgate as well. Stones inside the Iranian half of the centre circle, just feinted to drop his shoulder, move quickly the other way to work it out towards Luke Shaw again. Shaw's ball into the feet of Sterling. Now we're back towards Stones. England have found possession so easy to come by in this game. Stringing the passes together very ably at the moment. Now the longer diagonal border. Try and get Luke Shaw in again. Shaw's got the beating of Sardak Maharami on that far touchline. And the Iranians' clearance not the best. Little reverse ball played in, and they get another corner out of it as Raheem Sterling trying to get there as Mount played the through ball. The sliding in was just knocked away, and England have corner number 3.
The Iranian back line and midfield cannot deal with us when we play the ball. 1-2s, give and goes, magnificently well played. I've got to say as well, Declan Rice has broke up maybe 2 or 3 potential counter-attacks and a cross-field pass slightly earlier, and he will be invaluable to England. Maybe not as much in this game, but certainly games going forward.
Well, England should have had a penalty from the first corner. They hit the bar from the second. Here's the third. It's an away swing that Maguire climbs high for, and he's landed into the net from the edge of the penalty area by Saka. And the 2 youngsters have both scored, and England lead 2-0 before half-time. More set-piece dominance from the 3 Lions as Maguire headed it down, and Bukayo Saka, whose last game in a major tournament for England ended in despair, has just scored a magnificent half volley on his World Cup debut. England 2, Iran 0.
Well, the Iranian team to a man are haranguing the referee now. They're suggesting there was I don't know what they're suggesting, to be quite honest with you, a foul in there somewhere. I'm not seeing it. Absolutely no chance. Inept defending, not strong defending, and I've got to say, what a beautiful finish from this young man.
Well, they're claiming that Maguire, in climbing high to nod it down, has leant over and into Cheshmi, and that he was fouled. He just wasn't strong enough, the Iranian defender. And you say that if it was the other end as well, doesn't seem to be any justification for chalking that off. What a cathartic moment for Bukayo Saka.
In all honesty, Jim, if they chalk that off for that header from Maguire, then you've got to ask questions about the earlier one when Harry Maguire was wrestled to the ground. Incredible. And the Iranians almost refusing to kick off because they're complaining about the decision. Brilliant play by England.
Bellingham on 35, Saka on 44. England starting with 9 on the side that started that final in the Euros, and the 2 who've been added to those 9 have both scored in this first half.
Well, as I say, the 2 that have added it certainly were worth their place in the side. A fantastic season so far. And, you know, from England's point of view, nothing silly, don't take too many chances in regard to playing, be comfortable on the ball, don't give opportunities to Iran to press you and give it away cheaply, play safe but keep playing with tempo.
Well, the Iranians have played 15 games in the World Cup in the past. They've only ever scored twice in one of them. They need 2 for a draw here, and England push forward as we go into 14 added minutes. It's 3-0. Kane crossing from the right-hand side, and Sterling is in on the act. Well, this is like Panama all over again. What a sensational first half. Kane making his way forward. Great near post run from Raheem Sterling, and it was the movement that did it. He just got his right foot to it, a flick it into the bottom right hand corner, and England have scored twice in 2 minutes, and they lead by 3 goals to 0.
Well, incredibly, the Nations League this summer seems like a horrible nightmare that didn't really happen at this moment in time. The team have sort of approached this game in a brilliant manner. Fantastic play by Saka and then Bellingham, and then Kane's movement and ability to just swirl and cross, and the arrival of Sterling in the box, outside of the foot. Fantastic finish, well controlled finish. That's tougher than actually he made it look.
An England side who hadn't won in 6 games coming into this tournament, who were at their lowest ebb for a long, long time. 45 minutes has done wonders. What a panacea for the Ills this has been. Bellingham, Saka, Raheem Sterling, who'd never previously scored in a World Cup. Now breaking that duck in his 10th game at a World Cup for his country. And England are 3 goals to the good. And Iran are in disarray.
Iranian players continually moaning to the referee now. They're not happy with what's gone on, the odd decision. What I would say to them is this: you're fortunate you haven't given a penalty away and the referee let you off earlier in the game. But at the moment, England exemplary, confident to a man, good on the ball, clinical in front of goal.
2 minutes and 32 seconds between goals 2 and 3. And England will hope for more before half-time. As I mentioned, 14 added minutes at the end of this first half. England have it again. Bellingham on the edge of the penalty area, trying to trick his way through on the edge of the D, but it'll be clear, only as far as Rice. Breaking it up again, a perfect illustration of what Stuart Pearce was telling you here on Talk Sport. And Rice goes back for Stones. Forward through the midfield here for Luke Shaw. Here's Kane. Back for Rice again. And now to Jude Bellingham, whose goal makes him England's youngest ever goal-scoring debutant in a World Cup. Saka outside him. Trippier trying to make the run. He's very cleverly back-heeled it straight into the captain, Hansafi. And it's come off him and gone out of play for a corner which England will take. Well, let me go through the list again. Should have had a penalty from the first, hit the bar from the second, scored from the third, and now he's the fourth one.
Yeah, as I say, credit to the manager at this moment in time. Team selection absolutely bang on. The team have hit the ground running, and that will gain a lot of confidence within the group at this stage, I think. You know, we couldn't have asked for any more. 3-line scoreline, 3-0 scoreline approaching half-time.
In comes Trippier's corner towards the edge of the penalty area. That one is easily cleared. Bellingham back-heeling it back for Trippier again into the feet of Sterling. Saka making a good run for him inside the penalty area, stretched out a left foot trying to bring it down, and then he was nearly brought down himself, but Iran scramble it away only as far as Rice. Trippier goes back behind square to find John Stones, and now England will work it forward with Mason Mount playing it out towards Harry Kane. 3 goals to the good Kane. The Golden Boot winner at the last World Cup hasn't got any of those, but he won't mind that. Trippier maintaining possession. The season he's had for Newcastle United, how brilliant he's been since he made the move to Tyneside. Galvanising figure at the club. He's been absolutely integral in everything that they've done under Eddie Howe so far. And bringing that form into the World Cup with him. Saka wrestling on the right-hand touchline. It's played forward down the Iranian left. They got it past him, but Bellingham's in there to win it back from Mehdi Taremi. And now Maguire will work it forward and try and get England going again on the far touchline, which is the England left. And night very much falling here now. The western side of the capital. Played forward towards Rice. Rice inside the centre circle, just works it to his right-hand side for Trippier. Trippier to Stones, to Rice, and then back for Stones and out of Maguire. And again, the possession so easy for England to come by. And the England fans, those that have travelled out here, will be ecstatic with what they've seen so far. Trippier's got it again. Played forward, hurriedly, trying to get Kane around the back of Pranay. Iran in there, all red, just clear their lines. And England will walk around and pick it up at the back and literally slow it down to walking pace. Trippier to Stones and now to Maguire again. Now a reminder of what's coming up for you later on Talk Sport and Talk Sport 2. The second game today, Senegal against the Dutch, which is live on Talk Sport 2 from 4 o'clock. Guys, they've been reacting to everything that's happened here on Drive after the game. And you won't want to miss that either. If you've got the TalkSport app, you can just swipe one way and the other to keep abreast of all the reaction and the fallout from what at the moment has been a very promising start to this World Cup for England. And also that game between Senegal and the Netherlands. And coming up later, USA against the Welsh, the other game in this group, which kicks off at 7. And that's here on TalkSport. Saka, scorer of the second England goal. Twisting and turning on the edge of the penalty area. Mount trying to play it back to him, and then it's cleared into Saka and bounces on the dead ball line and goes out of play for a goal kick. It is England 3, Iran 0 in first half stoppage time.
Yeah, I've got to say the superlatives run out for me at the moment for this performance. I think from the first moment, they've got on the ball, they pass well, they pick their moments to play forward and bisect the lines. They've hit diagonals that have picked out both fullbacks that have got advanced. Shaw's delivery for the goal, magnificent. And it's very, very difficult to look at any of the players and say any of them have played slightly under par. They've been magnificent. Rice has broken up any slight problem that there might have been, and he's going to be integral to this team going forward.
Cheshmi, who's playing in the middle of the three centre halves, ordinarily a defensive midfielder. The bearded Iranian has just knocked it away. Picked up by England in a deeper position with Trippier for Stones. Stones thought about going back for Pickford, just turned instead, and then played a potentially awkward ball through the middle, and that is Tony Cascarino was talking about with me yesterday on air on the weekend sports breakfast with Natalie, just mentioning the fact that if he feels that there is a chink in the England armoury, it is the way that they play that particular pass, just a little bit loose around the edge of the penalty area where possession can be turned over. And we've seen it 2 or 3 times today.
Yeah, we have. As I say, because they're so comfortable in possession, they trust each other with the ball. The likes of Bellingham and Rice, they're screaming for the ball, so it's very difficult as a centre-half not to supply them with the ball and encourage them to have it.
We're in the 9th minute of stoppage time, another 6 to go. It's 3-0 to England. Goals from Bellingham, Saka and Sterling in a devastating 11-minute spell. Iran winning possession back and trying to work it forward down the left with Hastafi. Didn't get too far. Mason Hastafi, who plays his club football in Greece. The third man to play at 3 World Cups for the Iranians. Set to get off to a losing start by the look of it, although there is still at least 50 minutes of action ahead of us. Here's Kieran Trippier for England now. Trippier into Jude Bellingham. It's a giant amongst men in that midfield. Play forward from Stones to the retreating Mount, and then back for Maguire. Maguire launches it long. It starts a lot of Luke Shaw. He just pinged it a little too high for him, although Shaw got his head to it. He could do no more. Goes out of play for a throw, and then they get another throw as Mason Mount quickly came across to close down the ball for him. The England side, who had they lost today or failed to win, it would have equalled the worst ever run in Three Lions history of 7 without a win. The last time they went 6 without a win, the 7th opponent in the sequence was Poland. Stewart scored that night in a 3-0 victory, which got England back on track, and a sense that this may well get them back on track as well, but also a sense that there are many more, much more significant battles than this one lying ahead, because Iran have been really poor for all that England have been excellent. Here's Taremi winning possession back, worked out towards the left-hand side, an opportunity now for Hastafi to get it forward, and there's a man over on the far post, and it's volleyed over the bar, but England lost their man. There are appeals that it should be offside. In fact, the flag did come up belatedly, but Harry Maguire, in the drifting into the centre, had just created space at the far post. Seeing the replay again, Stuart, initially you called it immediately, and you were absolutely right. As the ball was worked out, Hastafi was offside.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, it's just that loose pass, you know what I mean? Things are comfortable, you're 3-0 up, and you take the odd liberty, and Trips there just played a sort of diagonal ball inside, and it's gone over Deck's head, and all of a sudden it created that extra man overload.
Play just stopping again for a moment. Rice saying it is a throw, and the referee concurring, and the play restarts. Trippier taking it. Just a thumbs up from him to his manager Gareth Southgate at something that was said to him from close quarters. Trippier has it again, controlling the ball from John Stones. Stones looks to turn and play it back and find Jordan Pickford, who will control it and then flash it forward, left-footed out towards the far touchline. Shaw came to meet it, and had he just got his head to that, might have been able to flick it on to the path of Raheem Sterling and in behind the back line, but wasn't to be. It's handed out by the Iranian defender Sadegh Mahrami, and out of play for a throw. which has been taken by England since the third goal went in. They're conserving their energy coming up to half-time and have slowed things right down. The referee again has spotted something and has pulled play back to give England a free kick near the halfway line. A chance to get the big guns forward again. 12 minutes of first half stoppage time have elapsed, another 2 to go. Kane making his way forward, but he's the only England player really in and around the edge of the penalty area. Maguire hasn't made the run forward, indeed he's the man standing over the free kick. And just works it short into the feet of Jude Bellingham. Bellingham cleverly turning it forward through the midfield, and another free kick is given, and there was a little bit of anger from Mason Mount. He felt there was a poor challenge on him, just catching him on the ankle. So he's back on his feet, and England have an opportunity that Kieran Trippier will just move forward to take. I mean, it's right at the limit of range, this, but 13 yards outside the penalty area maybe. Trippier going to fancy his chances, or is it going to be a ball teased up towards the aerial targets? Maguire and Stones have both come forward, and they stand in the far post area.
I can't understand England at the moment. They've sent the two big boys up, two centre-halves, but there's 6 players outside the box. Someone's got to get in for those knockdowns. Maguire or Stones has got every chance of winning this. You need the seconds around him.
Well, Maguire and Stones stand at the far post, and there's one Iranian defender between them. It's played into that kind of area. It hits Maguire and then Stones, who did well to react and adjust and control it, recycle play, working back outside the penalty area for Trippier, and now down towards Luke Shaw. Shaw's ball into the feet of Bellingham. Bellingham goes back for Rice and goes out for Shaw again, and then played out to the England left-hand side, where man can ride a challenge and then lay it back towards halfway for Bellingham. Bellingham controlling it. Just work towards the edge of the centre circle for Trippier. Another ball into the midfield. That one given away though by England, and Maguire has done well to instantly win it back. Bellingham controlling it. Maguire put under more telling pressure this time by Karimi. He goes out of play, and the Iranians are far from happy that the decision has gone against them. They won't be happy with many aspects of that first half, which has been brought to an end. A magnificent first 45 minutes as far as England were concerned. It's the first time in 40 years that they've scored 3 goals in their opening game in the World Cup, and they've done it before half-time. Goals from the 2 youngsters, Bellingham and Saka, and Raheem Sterling's 20th goal for his country, his first on the big stage as well. Added some gloss to it as well. There should have been a penalty. They hit the bar. It was almost under the circumstances. Pretty perfect. Not a bad opening 45 minutes to the 2022 World Cup. From a Three Lions perspective, they lead Iran 3-0 at the break on TalkSport. And it is important, of course, 45 minutes in, that you keep feet on the ground and retain a level of perspective. But a fantastic start as far as England are concerned. The Iranians are making a triple change. Estelahi is coming on. He will anchor the midfield. Golizadeh is also coming on, and Kanani is a centre-half. So they're bringing a defensive midfielder, a centre-half and a winger on for the second half. And the players that are coming off, Karimi, Cheshmi and Jahanbash. It'll be interesting to see whether they keep the shape or whether they move back to the back four. Remember, they are wedded to a 4-1-4-1 formation. So interesting that Carlos Queiroz has changed it today for this first game of the World Cup. Anyway, we're back underway. England white shirts with the dark blue trim, dark blue shorts. They're kicking from right to left in this second half. Now the Iranians in all red. England leading by 3 goals to 0. Bellingham, Saka and Sterling all on target in a devastating 11-minute span coming up to half-time. Ball laid back for Pickford. Pickford will play it out towards the England right-hand side for Trippier. Stones receiving it. There's a much more active and industrious press from Iran in this second half. As Stones and Maguire are given the cheap possession they had in the first half. It's laid back for Pickford, who tried to take a touch and miscontrolled it. He did get it away. It spooned out off an Iranian player towards the edge of the penalty area, where England then won the seconds. Bellingham was given a free kick away, but that was the nervy moment, and Jordan Pickford raises his left hand by way of apology.
Yeah, these are the traps that we fall into at our peril by being so slow with the passing across the back line, taking too many risks. Good teams don't give you opportunities, and we've got to make sure we don't do that. Iranians almost looking out of possession there in a sort of 4-3-2-1 formation. So it's going to be very congested in the centre of the pitch. We're going to have to go out wide and keep using our fullbacks.
Ball is headed forward by Trippier. Kane coming back from an offside position was in no position to go for it. The Iranians will work it out of the right-hand side again for Maharami. Maharami to Golizadeh. He's given it away. The substitute Bellingham's going to be able to bring it forward for England and work it very quickly out to the right-hand side where Saka, also a goal scorer, can't get it under control. Kane whips the ball in, half cleared, and the Iranians will get it further away towards halfway. England pick it up again with Shaw, and Shaw finding Maguire, and still England having the lion's share of possession. Maguire's ball through the midfield, expertly picked up by Declan Rice, and now Bellingham will turn on the right-hand side and play it forward, but Saka is flagged offside. I don't want to be accused of taking things to extreme here, and there is still 45 minutes ahead of us. But that said, Gareth Southgate will be looking at the situation and a little bit of match management here, looking at the management of resources in terms of the tournament as a whole. And England possibly in a position that they might be able to rest a few of the first choice 11 later in this game. We'll get your views on that in a moment as Kane drives forward. He got past the first two challenges, but not the third, which was a rash lunge, which has resulted in a yellow card for Pirani Ganji, who has caught Harry Kane, who stays down holding his ankle.
Yeah, going back to your point there, the next goal's vitally important in this. If England get the next goal, I think as a manager you're thinking, I'm going to make a few changes here, and that will be utopia for England. You're looking and saying we need to look after probably Harry Kane, maybe Calvin Wilson or Rashford getting an opportunity to run out for him. And as I say that, Harry Kane is still on the floor. Hopefully that's not too much of a problem. You're looking at Grealish and Foden, definitely need some football, and you made a great point at half-time. How important Declan Rice is going to be for this team. Now, if we have a problem with Declan, his direct replacement will be Calvin Phillips doing a similar type of role. So he'll need the minutes from a physical point of view. So if we can get him on the pitch at some stage today, all well and good. And I think Harry Kane's very, very fortunate. I'm hoping he's very fortunate not to have a real problem here with his ankle. Because
it was a really poor challenge, wasn't it? He is back on his feet. Faye Carruthers got a better view of Van She's behind that goal, only about 25 yards away from where Harry's receiving his treatment, Faye.
Yeah, all the players immediately gathered around Harry Kane, and he was holding his right foot, and then the physios came on, moved about his ankle, and he's looking a little bit more comfortable as he walks off the pitch, kicking his legs up, so it looks to be okay.
And the nation breathes a sigh of relief. So Kane okay, making his way off towards this near touchline. Pirani Ganji picked up a yellow card for that challenge, and Jahan Bash, who was taken off at half-time, is the only other player to have been booked so far. So this free kick is in a promising position. It is in Kieran Trippier territory. Saw him ping a fantastic one in against Manchester City earlier this season for Newcastle from a position that was very marginally more central than this. The Iranian wall is 5 strong and is a yard inside the box. England have 2 in front of that wall to block the view. Maguire and Bellingham will split away. Trippier takes it, smacks it into the wall, and then it comes back out to him. He tried to knock it square, took a deflection, and England are able to maintain possession, but back inside their own half. Shaw can get it forward in towards Trippier, who's still up there. He finds the feet of Sterling, saw Kane's run and tried to backheel it into his path. And then another poor challenge from behind, right in front of the referee, who has let that go. Trippier was just taken right off his feet by Nuralahi. That was naughty. And he's down and in some anguish, and the ball will be put out of play. And the referee surely has got to pull play back. England still have possession, and so he played the advantage, but surely he's got to produce a yellow card for that.
Well, England have dropped the tempo of the way they're passing the ball, and as I mentioned at the back end of the first half, that's enabled the Iranian players to get a little bit tired, and all it was a foot on top of the other. But of course there's no protection with the modern day boot. Obviously that really hurts. Stud just goes straight through the leather or the plastic, whichever it may be, and Trippier certainly felt the effects of that.
Well, no yellow card forthcoming. Possession restored to England, sportingly by the Iranians after a throw was taken by Harami. Rice to pull the ball out of play so that treatment could be received. So Kane and Trippier have both been down in this second half, but they're both okay and able to continue. England leading 3-0 here on TalkSport, with that fantastic 11-minute spell coming at the half-time, in which Bellingham, Saka and Sterling all scored their first ever World Cup goals. Now Iran can bring it forward. Hadsafi trying to work it through the middle. Tarami's hardly had a kick, trying to get on the end of it, couldn't. The Porto forward losing out. And it goes out of play for a throw which will be taken over on the Iranian left-hand side. They're yet to progress in the group stage of the World Cup. A fair few, both Iranian fans and Qatari supporters, were expecting that the Iranians would be able to get out of the group. They might yet, of course, but making a hard fist of it. They have only ever won twice in 15 matches at the World Cup, including the very famous win against the United States in France in 1998. And of course there will be a repeat of that match, the final game in the group stage. And that one, like all of the others at the FIFA World Cup, live for you here on the TalkSport network. England work it forward, Kane beaten in the air, Bellingham and then Rice getting a foot on the ball in the midfield, and now it goes out to the England right-hand side for Bukayo Saka. Saka coming in off the right-hand touchline. No space with which to work. Trippier playing it forward. Now it comes back to Saka again. Saka out towards the right for Trippier. Good movement comes from Bellingham down towards the corner flag, and he's got past his man. He's waiting to see who he can put it back to, and it was swept away by one of the centre-halves and out of play for a corner. But Jude Bellingham just waltzing his way through that Iranian penalty area.
Yeah, he is. He's enjoying his football at the moment. You could see that from the early minutes of the game. He wants to get on the ball, he wants to pass, and certainly when you hit the back of the net in an England shirt, it raises your esteem, that is for sure. It's important we keep moving the ball nice and quickly. Don't get into bad habits in this second half and leave a bad taste in our mouth coming off the pitch.
So a first, second half corner. Trippier with an away swinger. Out comes the goalkeeper Hosseini. Didn't really get anything on it. It's punched, well, flicked away by him. Declan Rice is back in now, and they'll do it all again as England win another corner, which is their 6th of the game. Rice on the right-hand side of the penalty area, and it's come off him and gone out of play. So another corner which will be taken. Kieran Trippier going across to take it. Sterling stands nearest the goal, although Stones and Rice both made runs past him now. Rice on the edge of the 6. Sterling is back almost right underneath the goalkeeper. It's an away swinger looking to create space for Maguire, who came to meet him but didn't get any contact on it. Shaw mops up as it's half cleared. Back from him to Mason Mount. Now to Kane. Kane on the edge of the penalty area. Little 1-2 between him and Bukayo Saka. Saka for Trippier. Trippier rolling it down the line. Mason Mount, left-footed ball in from him. Goalkeeper backpedaling. It was actually a misdirected cross, but it put the goalkeeper honest. He had to make sure it wasn't going to sail over his head and into the top right-hand corner. It didn't. Goes out of play. The throw will be taken over on that far side on the Iranian left. They've taken it quickly, but not effectively, and England had enough bodies back to mop up the danger. Bellingham lays it back for Trippier. England giving it away again, but then winning it back with Stones. Maguire forced to step up quickly from the defensive line. And that has been something that has punctuated this game on occasion. England struggling at the back, but now they break forward quickly. Kane playing it to Sterling, who made his way forward very quickly. And he's won another corner, the third of this second half off Hosseini.
Yeah, once again, alarm bells ringing at the back, just overcooking it a little bit. We want to play, but you've got to play quickly. Iran are pressing with more players and more aggressively, so if you dally on the ball or leave a short pass, they will cut it out. Brilliant play there by Sterling and Kane, good interaction. And Raheem, when he got in advanced areas, hoping he'd get good control and take on one-on-one, but opportunity to put the ball in the box again,
which Luke Shaw is going to take the responsibility for this time. Once more, there are 6 inside that box. No strong arm tactics from the Iranian defenders this time. In the first quarter of the game, if you're just joining us, we thought England should have had a penalty. Stones and Maguire both brought down. In comes the corner. Rice looking for the near post flick this time. It's cleared out towards the edge of the penalty area where there's a little bit of climbing that's penalised by the referee. And it's a free kick to the Iranians on the edge of the box. It's just slowed down a little in this second half, as you can imagine. The first half, Iran only had 46 successful passes in the entire half. Possession 80-20 in England's favour at the moment. And they lead by 3 goals to 0. Maguire with the ball at his feet, midway side his own half, and his orange boots played forward. It's cut out though easily again. Iran trying to make a way forward, can't get too far. Picked up in there by Nuralahi. Safina. England keeping a very tight, organised shape back behind the ball. They haven't had too many opportunities to show their defensive prowess, really. The launch fall from the back by the substitute Kanani on the centre half, looking to try and find a flick on. It's helped on by Taremi, but he can't find the runner Nuralahi behind him. And as it's cleared long by Pickford, it's mopped up at the back by Ezzatolahi and put out of play. Ezzatolahi, who actually made a handful of appearances for Reading a few seasons ago in the Championship, plays his club football in Denmark. The midfielder who conceded the penalty against Portugal in the last World Cup. He's got lots of experience. There's no youth in this Iranian team. There's only one in the squad who's younger than 26, and he's on the bench today. So they have the experience. A lot of them, 15 in all, have played out the World Cup before. But his second best today. And Bellingham will find Saka here, who will make his way forward towards the edge of the area. Sterling almost able to thread it through towards Mason Mount. Couldn't quite. And Iran defending mob handily were able to get it away. And again, in picking it up in the midfield, then look long, trying to get Mehdi Taremi in, but it was a handball by him. And it's a free kick to England in the left back position. Played 58 minutes, England 3, Iran 0. The first of 3 live commentaries from the World Cup for you on TalkSport today. And alongside me for this one is Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, the lineup of the Iranians at the moment pushing quite hard with a tight 4. And England, if they can play through that with good possession, the likes of Bellingham and Rice to get on it, get turned, we've got a chance to set attacks up like the one that's being mounted now.
With Saka in possession, threading it through for Jude Bellingham, edge of the penalty area. Shaw coming onto it, hit it first time, a rasping left-footed drive that was blocked, and then went high up in the air inside the penalty area. And Ezzatolahi is there to be able to knock it away and out of play for an England throw. But Shaw coming onto it will have taken a lot out of the way that his individual performance has gone in this first hour of the World Cup. Shaw playing it forward again. It's cleared by the Iranian back line, forward towards Taremi, turning it forward into the England half, and Mason Mount's covered a lot of ground to be able to get there and guide it back for Pickford in all yellow. Played for by him. Saka going up for it. He had Hosseini stretching out a left leg around him to be able to clear, and England get another throw. 3-0 England leading here on TalkSport.
I think England and Gareth probably what we on? Approaching the 60-minute mark. I think before 70 minutes there'll be a multiple substitutions and hopefully get some players some minutes under their belt. Mainly Phillips, I would think, would really do with the physical run out, and on top of that maybe one or two others in those advanced areas.
Taremi back for Ezatolahi, who has had a shot from 35 yards out maybe, and you can file that one under optimistic. Out of play, well wide, goal kick to England. We've reached now, England are 3-0 up.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Jim, how I would rate the sort of Iranian performance. They're ranked 20th in the world, but certainly probably the way England have approached the game and blown them away is more of an indicator of how well England have done today rather than the Iranians.
Well, they're ranked 20th in the world. It doesn't say much for a side that's ranked 120th. If this is the 20th best team, I'm not sure about the FIFA World Rankings, I must admit. I think the ELO rankings are probably a better guide. They are still in the top 30, Iran within that. England 5th in the world rankings, are 12th in the ELO rankings, but will go up on the back of this performance. Ball's cleared by Hosseini, the goalkeeper, headed forward easily by Shaw into Sterling. Sterling riding a challenge which comes in, is able to work it wide to the right hand side of the area. Sterling making a good run forward. Saka's got it, twisting onto his left foot and finds the corner via a deflection, and there's goal number 4. It gets better and better for England. A performance that has been the oasis in the desert. It's England 4, Iran 0.
Absolutely super play there when it get put out to Saka. He come inside, kept coming, the shot was blocked, he kept moving it, and in the end the goal opened up for him. 4-0 now for England, and I think Stevie Holland, he's straight out, he's pointing at 1, 2, 3 players. I think changes will be made.
So 4-0 England lead. That's the first time they scored 4 in a World Cup opener since 1954 in the match that ended 4 each. I think this one is going to end in a draw. The Iranians are going to make a substitution, and Tarabi is going to come on, and they're going to be bringing off Mehdi Taremi. So they're bringing off their star player on the basis that the horse has bolted now, and Tarabi is going to be coming on to replace him. So 4-0 England lead. Let's go back pitch side and talk to TalkSport's England correspondent Faye Carruthers.
It looks like Gareth Southgate is going to bring 3 players on, as you just said there, Jim. Callum Wilson, Marcus Rashford and Phil Foden, all stripped up and ready to come. And during those celebrations, the players went straight over to the substitutes to celebrate with them, and Jude Bellingham booted a ball straight into the crowd of England fans to collect.
Second for Bukayo Saka, who has netted 5 for Arsenal this season. 3 goals in World Cup qualification, but 2 in the first hour or so of the tournament itself. The joint leading scorer. A long way to go before the golden boot is dished out, but he's at time with Ana Valencia of Ecuador right now. England leading Iran by 4 goals to 0. Rice in possession inside his own half, can work it forward, and England again able to get the ball into feet so ably until Saka slightly overhits the ball for Sterling. It was adrenaline charged, that one, and Iran can pick it up, and then they will bring it forward quickly. The Harami towards the edge of the penalty area. Chance for Nuralahi to get the ball in, and his cross is knocked away by magnificent Bellingham. Out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Iranian right. And as Faye was saying, Foden is ready for action. Rashford there as well, and Wilson, and it's going to be a 4th. Grealish has also made his way forward to receive his final instructions. Remember, you can only make changes at 3 separate junctures within the game, so England will bring 4 on at this point, or in a moment's time or so. The Iranians have it towards the corner of the penalty area. Little flick ball in, and Jordan Pickford is beaten, and Iran have one back. It was played in towards Golizadeh on the edge of the box. Right-footed drive by Taremi, and he's got his hand to it. He's flicked it up off the underside of the bar, and he's gone over the line.
And Harry Maguire, I think, has got a slight problem down there. He's just gestured to the bench. I think he's saying to the bench, before you make these 4 substitutions, I've got a slight problem.
Well, Tarami's number was up a few moments ago and he was going to be coming off, and they changed their mind and they brought off Mahrami instead, and Tarami left on the field and he just nipped in. There's nothing Pickford could do about that, beaten by the pace of it. A delight from the Iranian supporters, and concern, big concern for Harry Maguire, 4-1.
I think our producer there has just got his eyes on Maguire and potentially holding the top of his thigh, potentially, but certainly I think he'll be one of the players coming off. I'm not sure he was down to come off, certainly looking at the substitutes bench. In fact, they're looking at his eyes. I think there's a concussion scenario rather than his thigh. I was just going to say, prior to the goal, funnily enough, but England have certainly got enough in the front area of the pitch to cause any team a big problem and go a long way in this competition. Our big question we've got, are we good enough to keep clean sheets and keep teams out?
Well, they're still checking Maguire, just going through the protocol. The medical staff are just moving fingers either side of him, just making sure where his field of vision is. Just feeling his cheekbones and seeing where any potential pain is. Callum Wilson has sat back down for the time being whilst they're just assessing exactly what the situation is with Maguire, and Eric Dyer is coming off the bench instead. There's no point in taking any risks here with Maguire.
Absolutely
with 25 minutes to go and a 4-1 lead.
Absolutely not. As I say, at this moment in time in the match, they've earned the right to do whatever they need to do, and for me, you wouldn't even be checking him out. Bring him off, put Dyer on, give him some exposure. It's tough on Wilson. He looks as though he's been the one that stood down, but I think it'll be the right move.
So Maguire is coming off, Faker Ellis.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's got his head on his hand on his head at the moment. Callum Wilson, as you say, went and sat back down, and Steve Holland had gone over just before that to beckon Eric Dyer over, who's just stretching on the touchline as well and going over to greet Harry Maguire as he comes off.
So this is a concern for England going forward. Maguire off, and Eric Dyer, who scored that winning penalty in the famous shootout against Colombia, made a couple of starts at the last World Cup but came off the bench on 4 other occasions, and he is coming on here. Maguire being led straight down the tunnel. So England have made the one change. I think they wanted to make the triple change at the same time as well, but the referee and the assistant referees insisted that play restarted, and so England haven't made. In fact, Dyer hasn't come on, so Maguire's been led away. The officials insisted that the game restarted, and England are still down to 10 men. They haven't been able to make the changes yet. Now they're going to be able to. It's a shambles. In fact, now they're still not going to be able to, because the referee has again told the Iranians to restart play with the resulting throw. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Maguire's already come off, and they're ready to bring Dyer on, and the other 3 that were coming on anyway. So England temporarily and mystifyingly down to 10 men. But it will only be temporary, and the next break of play, Dyer's going to be able to come on. Maybe the 4th official wasn't ready, but that's hardly England's problem, is it? Here's Declan Rice, played forward. The 4th official not having a great game, put the wrong number up for the last Iranian change. And on the front foot again, Iran, a chance towards the edge of the penalty area. It's been passed up when a right-footed shot does come, and it's blocked, and then it's a left-footed off-balance effort from Nuralahi, which flies over the bar. Will be a goal kick which Pickford will take, and now England can be restored to the full complement of 11. Tempers frayed amongst the England players because of all of that. So Dyer on for Maguire, and now the other 3 changes will be made as well.
I hope the 4th official's ready now. As I say, good opportunity for Dyer. I think he's had a solid season for Spurs this year. and an opportunity for him. I don't think Maguire's done a great deal wrong in this game. I think he's had a good game, and I'm pleased for him, you know, from some of the stick. Now we've got the three advanced players, the game changers, if you like, the finishers, whatever you want to call them, have got a great opportunity to come on. Whoever's coming off has certainly done well and have a real good feel-good factor about themselves.
So the change is made. Maguire off, obviously. Saka, Mount and Sterling, the other players who are making way. And they'll be replaced by Dyer, Rashford, Foden and Grealish. So Jordan Pickford will restart play. England leading by 4 goals to 1 here on TalkSport. Long clearance from Pickford. Pickford going very long through the middle. Kane going up for it. He's beaten at the back. Shaw working back via a deflection to his goalkeeper. Long ball fall from Pickford again. Harry Kane controlling it, working it wide out towards the right-hand touchline. A chance straight away for Rashford, and he's fine. Wow! What an introduction! He's only been on the field for a minute, and Marcus Rashford has scored his first World Cup goal, a moment that he will cherish and never forget. And you remember England's last game at a major tournament where Saka and Rashford missed those penalties and were the subject of disgraceful racial abuse by an element of England supporters. And now, back on the World Cup stage, they've scored 3 between them, and England have 5 and 3 points to boot.
I think what we're seeing, Jim, is the strength in depth of the England squad. You know, to take 3 players in advanced areas off and bring 3 on at any given day could be your starting 3. Takes some doing. It's quite incredible, really. And fantastic goal for Rashford. Been on good form for United this back end of the leading into the World Cup, and there's some great substitution from the manager. Well done.
Well, it's amazing how things work. His last touch in an England shirt was that missed penalty in the final of the Euros. Hasn't played for his country since then. Didn't feature in the Nations League or any of the qualifiers after the Euros. And he comes back on. His first contribution, played in, scores, and England lead by 5 goals to 1. Here's Shaw. Way back for Eric Dyer on the left of 2 centre-halves now alongside John Stones. Trippier on the right, Rice and Bellingham in midfield, Mount ahead of them, Rashford on the right of the front 3 with Kane in the middle and Grealish on the left. That's how England are now that the changes have been made. England leading 5-1. Shaw. Back for Eric Dyer again. Once more the Stones. The grin on Callum Wilson's face. He is going to be coming on in a moment. That'll be, well, I would imagine England's last change. I haven't had clarification yet whether the Maguire substitution was a concussion substitution, in which case England will be able to make 1 more.
Certainly looked it, didn't he? They were going through all the concussion protocol by the looks of things. From Wilson's point of view, it's good that he's got the opportunity to get on. I think from Harry Kane's point of view, or from a selfish point of view, on behalf of Harry Kane, it's nice to see him come off. He's done his football, couple of assists today and been part of it.
Shaw, back for Bellingham. Bellingham hitting a longer ball out towards the England right-hand side, where Trippier's going to try and get there ahead of Haj Safi. Rashford making life difficult as well. The Iranians clear up the left-hand touchline. Esa Talahi on the edge of his own penalty area, neat and tidy, working it through the midfield, and then a little bit of a wrestling match going on, and the referee lets it go. It looked as though it was going to break England's way towards the edge of the penalty area, but it's a smack clear again. Bellingham was the England player involved in that. Just a little word being exchanged between him and his opponent. Moralahi on the back of that, and England will be able to build from the back once more, leading by 5 goals to 1. Rashford only on the pitch 52 seconds incidentally when he put the ball in the net. And Callum Wilson will be hoping to make a similarly instant impact. He will come on now for Harry Kane, who scored in every group game in the last World Cup. A duck for him tonight, but 5 goals elsewhere. Job done. As far as Kane is concerned, he'll leave the field, and Wilson will come on to replace him.
Yeah, good to see Callum Wilson. He's had a good season for Newcastle. Newcastle on an upturn at this moment in time, and he's played a big part in that, and it wouldn't surprise you if he netted as well in this 15 minutes or so that we've got left.
So a tournament debut for Callum Wilson, who hasn't played for England at all since he was a substitute in a 6-0 win against Bulgaria back in 2019, more than 3 years ago. Wilson for Kane, and Azmoun is going to be coming on for Iran at the next break in play. Azmoun, the 3rd most prolific Iranian international goal scorer of all time, who tore a calf muscle back in early October and hasn't played at all since. A Leverkusen striker who's far from fully fit, hardly did anything in open training for Iran over the last 2-3 days or so, but he's going to be coming on in a moment. Eric Dyer's in possession. He's laid it to his right hand side, where England are going to be able to work it forward easily again with Stones to Trippier to Declan Rice down to the England left, Shaw to Grealish. Big applause for Harry Kane, you can hear, who went off on the far touchline and is just slowly walking round behind the goal and acknowledging the applause of the England supporters. Taremi on the right hand side of the penalty area played in. Dyer was with him and the angle was prohibitive. He snatched it a little bit and sent it high and wide of Pickford's goal. Nuralahi coming off, Azmoun coming on for Iran, who trail by 5 goals to 1 on TalkSport.
Yeah, and as I say, I'm sure the coaching staff will be absolutely delighted with his performance, and certainly more importantly, first game of any big tournament with the nerves and whatever that come with that. England just hit the ground running, very, very comfortable in possession of the ball, and when you look, it's hardly surprising when you look back over the last 2 tournaments. This is a team that are very comfortable at the back end of tournaments.
Marcus Rashford just getting another touch there, the first player to come on and score for England at a World Cup since Steven Gerrard managed it against Sweden back in 2006. And this is only the 2nd time England have scored 5 or more in a major tournament, following that 6-1 against Panama in 2018. England bring it forward. Still plenty of time to add to the 5. 13 minutes to go. Foden on the half turn. Work to his right hand side for Rashford. Foden again over on the right flank, turning, coming into a much more central position with the ball never more than a foot away from his left foot. Finding Grealish, Foden's club teammate. Grealish takes it back out towards the right hand side again, a chance to flick a ball in. It was a misdelivered cross by Marcus Rashford, got the angle wrong, slight mishit. Bellingham does well to stretch out a right leg in midfield and bring it back under control. Foden into the feet of Grealish again. Foden trying to squeeze it through towards Luke Shaw. Thin gap between 2 Iranian midfielders, and via a deflection he found his man. Shaw then is just caught in possession by Maharami on the near touchline, but goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the England left. Just wondering if the tunnel is loud enough for you, Stuart, here. Whether you're hearing it back home, even if you're not listening on the radio, I would imagine you probably are. It's deafening, isn't it? Here's Rashford once more. Rashford to Rice. Rice to Maguire. To Stones, I beg your pardon. Maguire going off injured a few minutes ago. Stones down to Luke Shaw again. Shaw's got Grealish in possession right in front of the big wide England technical area. And Grealish just slowing it down, and then quick injection of tempo. Plays it back towards halfway. Works out towards the right. Trippier applauding the intent of the pass, if not the execution from Stones. He missed it, and it's gone out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Iranian left. But this is going to go down as a really good start for England's World Cup campaign. They lead 5-1 with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's been a solid performance. It's important that we see it out over the line and make sure we keep putting pressure on the Iranians, keep possession of the ball. We don't need to kill ourselves physically, but keep moving the ball nice and quickly. Let the ball do the work, as they say.
Well, I wonder how Ali McCoist is enjoying this. We'll find out tomorrow. Together, he's with Laura Woods here in Qatar on the TalkSport breakfast between 6 and 10. Woodsy and Coisty and Gabby Agbonlahor with them as well tomorrow morning, the former England striker, with his views off the back of this opener today. They'll be followed, as always, by White and Jordan, with Jim and Simon also live from our TalkSport studio here in Qatar. Then 3 back-to-back games for you tomorrow. Denmark-Tunisia from 1, Mexico-Poland at 4, France against the Aussies at 7. Argentina kick off their campaign tomorrow morning live on TalkSport 2. That's a 10 o'clock kickoff back home. Those are the ones that are going to be hot, the 10 o'clock in the morning games back home. The others are all going to be fine. No problem with the conditions here, not strength sapping at all as far as the England players are concerned, as they've shown, and they won't be later for Wales match against the United States, which is the other game in this group. That kicks off at 7 p.m. tonight. Between now and then, we'll have an hour's with the reaction from in the stadium. You're not missing anything, incidentally, because Milad Mahrami is down receiving treatment, the Iranian left back. Between full time in this game and about 4 o'clock or so your time, we'll be getting reaction from Gareth Southgate, from the headline makers, chewing the fat, looking at where everything's gone right, where the fine-tuning still needs to be made from an England perspective, with Adrian and Stuart and Faker Others, our England correspondent, speaking to the men that matter. Then Drive, Goldstein and Bent, couple of hours of more England reaction, you on the phones, your thoughts on where everything has gone right for England today and what you feel still needs to be improved. And Senegal against the Netherlands, which kicks off at 4, is also live for you here on TalkSport 2. So Senegal against the Dutch coming your way, the middle game today. Now Mahrami has finished receiving his treatment. He's back on his feet. We're back underway. We have 14 added minutes at the end of the first half. It's not going to be as long as that at the end of the second, but a fair few, you would imagine, as well. England leading 5-1, and they've got the ball at their feet in the midfield with Bellingham. Bellingham trying to work it out towards the right for Trippier, but it's easily knocked away. Asmoon gives chase up the inside right channel, but an optimistic crossfield ball can't find him. In fact, Asmoon just pulled up for a moment there, but is, I think, just adjusting his right boot. Nothing serious from his perspective. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to get him fit to face the Welsh, which is Iran's next game, which kicks off live on TalkSport 1 o'clock Friday. England in action 7 o'clock Friday against the United States. Both of those games for you on TalkSport in, 4 days' time. It's going to be a good 4 days for England, you would imagine, on the back of this. Rashford, score of the 5th. Out to Stones. Played back by Rice. And then Bellingham lays it off to the England left-hand side for Eric Dyer to work forward, and now Foden has got Grealish to his left-hand side. He's tried the more optimistic ball through the middle, and Rashford will sprint after it and will get there, but wider than Foden intended. He's got past the first one, he's got past the second one. Left-footed shot, I beg your pardon, was blocked. Grealish trying to get on the pieces on the edge of the box, has done really well to recycle it. He's found Shaw, Foden shipping it back into Shaw's run. Wilson was in there lurking with intent as well, and eventually it's cleared now to play for another England corner.
We've just seen a phase of play which shows England at their very best, playing at a real high tempo, quick interaction. I think when Rashford ended up beating an Iranian defender, he was trying to flick it round the corner to his teammate who'd overlapped and managed to beat the Iranian just by flicking it and getting it wrong, to be quite honest with you. But when England really step the tempo up, they are an exciting outfit.
Shaw taking the corner, very deep, too deep for everybody that was in there in an England shirt. And play stops immediately. The referee seeing some bumping and barging going on. There's concern for another Iranian defender who's down holding his head. John Stones leaning over him to make sure he's alright. He knew how severe the contact was. I think Kanani appreciated Stones' efforts there. There's two men genuinely jumping for the same ball. The free kick's gone against Stones though. It's a free kick which will be taken by Iran. 6 minutes to go and England leading by 5 goals to 1.
Yeah, certainly a good afternoon stroke evening's work from England's point of view. These first games can always be very tricky, especially when you play teams that bank up and defend, but we've cut them open when we've had to, looked to threat again from set plays, especially corners, and when they have had opportunities, we've managed to certainly, and I include Declan Rice as a key figure in this, managed to stop attacks, and Bellingham's done his part as well.
Here is Jude Bellingham, England's youngest ever debutant scorer at a World Cup now. Rashford working it wide out to the right-hand side of the area for Wilson. And the sliding challenge puts it away. Rashford's gone on retimed 49 seconds after he came on the field, the third quickest by a substitute in World Cup history. Well, it's been a day of milestones. And to put things in perspective, people might say, well, okay, it's only Iran. As we mentioned, 20th in the world rankings, this their biggest defeat for 15 years. Here's Grealish. If it stays as a 4-goal margin of victory for England, that is. Bellingham played out to the England right again. Good movement off the ball coming from Phil Foden. What an impact sub to be able to bring on. Foden laying it back for Grealish, who's another in that category. Back it goes from him to Trippier. Foden making a good run off the ball. Play down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Little layoff. Rashford couldn't ride the challenge effectively. Came under Luke Shaw's right foot, and he really didn't fancy a shot with it. And England have had possession turned over, and a chance for Estelahi to bring it forward. And it's 3 against 4 for a moment as Iran finally get the red shirts in England's final third, but can't find a way past the impressive Trippier, who blocks it, and it goes out of play. Trippier now the captain's armband, incidentally, now that Kane has gone off. And he's in there again with another good foot in, finding Rashford. Wilson chasing, and might get on the end of a poorly under-hit back pass, but the substitute goalkeeper was out quickly. Hosseini sweeping it away. And it goes out for a throw that will be taken on the England right-hand side. 3.5 to go. England 5, Iran 1 on TalkSport.
What was that again, Jim? Sorry, I misheard you.
England 5, Iran 1.
Thank you.
It's good, isn't it?
It is good, yeah. It's good to hear. And I think both teams at this stage will be quite happy for the final whistle. England's work done, good result, 3 points in the bag. We move on to the next game. And the Iranians, certainly, they thought this would be the toughest game on paper, and that certainly panned out that way.
Luke Shaw playing it for, and that's over here. I heard Graham Souness talking before they joined us here in the stadium. He was on with White and Jordan, and he was saying, you're playing against a team who are significantly below England in the world rankings. They think it's going to be tough. Don't disappoint them, and that has often been the case in the past at major tournaments. This actually the kind of game that England have struggled playing against sides who are of a defensive nature, who are ranked in and around sort of 20-30 in the world rankings. So sides that play defensively but do it very well, and that's a side that England have historically struggled against. Well, no struggles here.
Well, I think we've cut them open today, you know. Bellingham and Saka and some of the interchange of play in the front five, if you like, has been absolutely outstanding, and that's been the strength. The only thing I'm always thinking is, further down the tournament, can we defend as a team strongly enough to make sure that we get past some of the more leading lights at this World Cup? That's the important one.
And that'll be something that you'll be talking to Adrian about in the final hour of the programme from in the stadium today, here at the Khalifa International Stadium in Al Rayyan, as Shaw plays the ball through the midfield for Jack Grealish, and England will bring it forward again with 90 seconds of normal time to go and a 5-1 lead. Just that there has been the odd sign of defensive issues just now and then, which has been a concern. Possession for this tournament, incidentally, the official stats, you may well be aware, you might have seen them on the television, they have 3 numbers now rather than 2. They have the time that both sides have been in control of the ball, and also what they call in contest, which has been when it's sort of been going backwards and forwards in the midfield. And it's 70% England. And it could be 6 in a moment because they're on the front foot again. An opportunity to draw the ball back for Grealish! Half a dozen for England on a fantastic night. Jack Grealish adds to the tally, and England are going to repeat their margin of victory over Panama 4 years ago. Grealish tapping in it after more selfless work. It's England 6, Iran 1.
this. Oh, yes, I think, yeah, definitely onside there. And he timed his run fantastically well, Callum Wilson. And credit to him, I thought he was a definite to shoot when you've just come on unselfishly, just rolled one back and said, there you go, there's a goal for you in an empty net. Credit to him, brilliant play, Callum Wilson.
Now well put away by Jack Grealish as well, just walking onto it, tapping it in. He scored his first goal in Andorra and scores his second for his country in Qatar in the World Cup. England 6, Iran 1, and he's done the fantastic celebration. I don't know whether you saw, prior to Manchester City's last Premier League games, we go to 10 minutes of added time. Prior to Manchester City's last Premier League game, he spoke to a young City fan who suffers from muscular dystrophy, and he promised him that he would celebrate the next goal that he scored. He was asked by this young fan, can you do the worm? And he said, well, I'm not going to do that, but I will do a special dance for you. And he hasn't let him down. Good to see. Jack Grealish is a fine young fella and has tapped the ball in there. And that's a goal that will see him absolutely made up scoring in the World Cup, but he had the presence of mind to honour that promise, and it's just made a young boy's life.
I think as well, it's a side of his game that we want to probably see a little bit more goals and more assists from Jack Grealish, certainly in an England shirt.
Can't remember the last game I saw that had 24 added minutes, 14 in the first and 10 in the second, but we're in one now. 6-1 England lead, and the ball will be worked out to the Three Lions right again as Declan Rice tries to flick it round the corner and wins a throw. England in possession in the midfield. Luke Shaw coming to meet it. Goal difference could be so important at the end. This is a good result as far as Wales and the States are concerned as well. If you ended up, say, getting a three-way tie, 3 teams on 3 points maybe, or a couple of teams on 4, if Iran win one and draw one of the next 2, their goal difference taking a battering here, and if England end up level on points with somebody, they've got a big advantage. It could be worth half a point to somebody. This is Foden. He goes back for Eric Dyer. Dyer to Rice, and then back towards Stones again. Stones to Trippier. It's just a keep ball exercise for England now in the minutes that remain, Stuart.
I know that I think this result and the magnitude of this result for England, I think the game we've got coming up later, the Wales-USA game, is absolutely massive for both nations. And I think if Wales can get a victory in that game, that will really do their chances of progressing in this tournament massively. Almost see it as a playoff to see which team's coming through.
Oh, that's brilliant from Foden. He had 3 around him and he just almost looked them all in the eye and then just put the ball somewhere completely different. Danced between the 3 of them, rode another challenge and laid it off, and got England going on the front foot again. That United States-Wales game, remember, kicks off at 7. It's live on TalkSport. Good jump on the England left-hand side by Rashford, kept in by Grealish, score of England's 6th goal. Back he goes again for Jude Bellingham. Bellingham curving it in, and it's just too high for Wilson, and didn't quite evade the goalkeeper who came out. And it remains 6-1 with, 7 minutes or so to go. Ball thrown forward by Hosseini. Pulled down by Tarabi. No positives really as far as the Iranians are concerned. They'll take out of this. But Wales will be greatly infused by what they've seen. The only thing you'd say, Carlos Queiroz' men simply can't be as bad as this again. That's not taking anything away from England's performance, but I think there is a reality that not only have England been very good, Iran have been decidedly average.
Yeah, that would be fair to say. I think we've stole their hearts in the first half, and I'm being honest with you, Jim, I think our football's been that good, and when we've played at a real high tempo, little interchange, give and goes, the front line of our team has been absolutely scintillating.
Dyer. Now forward towards Declan Rice. England fans in a very good voice. Rice laying it out to England's right-hand side again. More movement off the ball came from Foden as they just try to chip it over the top. Marcus Rashford to find him. Grealish just on the half turn. Now out towards Luke Shaw. Shaw goes back for Bellingham. Bellingham to Rice and back for Eric Dyer, wearing 15. Now John Stones. Like Jordan Pickford starting a 15th successive tournament game for England today. And they're going to get another win. Pickford controlling it, laying it outside the penalty area. Here's Trippier. Clip forward right-footed. Help round the corner. Coming to meet it was Callum Wilson just dropping off. Paralan Ganji was in there to smuggle possession back. Now Kanani. Right-footed ball. Played by the centre-half out to the left wing. Maharami, high deep ball inside the penalty area. Didn't miss Taremi by much. It'll come down on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Another chance to deliver. Azmoun dropping off. Can't get there. It's headed away from him. And England, in getting it clear, might be able to launch another counter-attack with Foden. Some of the Iranians suffering from cramp. Oh, Foden's ball. Phil Wilson was overhit and uncharacteristically so, and it just goes innocuously through the goalkeeper Hosseini.
Yeah, you expect much more from Foden. Really poor pass. Wilson offering himself running behind the back line. To be honest with you, the pass was probably never on.
Azmoun into space on the right hand side. Harami, he can deliver in towards the near post, held down easily enough, and Eric Dyer will do the rest. Just taps it out of the penalty area to find Jack Grealish, and Grealish still with good injection of pace. He's not been on the field that long, Jack Grealish, and it was a turn that was far too good for Paralan Ganji, who's fouled him and given away a free kick, which England will take on the edge of the centre circle. It's England 6, Iran 1 on TalkSport.
Yeah, as I say, it's difficult. There'll be a lot of people looking at a lot of superlatives with the result and everything that goes with it, but it's a long way to go in this tournament, and the people that will be aware of that is the England manager and the England coaching staff, I'm sure.
Never read too much into the lows, never get too excited by the highs. That will certainly be something that will stand England in good stead after this, because if you're a player and you've scored 6 in the World Cup again, it's understandable, I suppose, that things your mind might just race a little, but feet will very much be kept on the ground. You can be assured of that.
I think the importance of today as well, the players look fresh, don't they? I think they do. You know, there's been a bit of talk about, a week ago they'd finished their season, if you like, and the turnaround of time. This team look as though they're used to each other's company, they enjoy each other's company, and the know-how between them, the movement, the interaction, it looks very in sync.
England take a throw over on the far touchline, which is their right-hand side, midway inside their own half. Now an opportunity potentially for Azmoun, and Pickford's tipped it onto the bar. Well, it could have been 6-2, it probably should have been 6-2, but it's an outstanding piece of goalkeeping from Jordan Pickford. Just England switching off, possession turned over, Azmoun was through, left-hand side of the penalty area, got within about 9 yards of goal, opened up his body, and Pickford has instinctively stuck up a right hand and got a finger to it to tip it onto the bar. It's a brilliant save.
It is a brilliant save, but as I say, England have got to make sure when we come up against tougher opponents, you cannot let people in behind your back line as easily as we showed just then.
A defence that has been breached once, and but for some Pickford brilliance, it would have been breached the second time there.
I think as well, Jim, when people talk about why did we play 2 defensive players in front of the back line, all of those type of things, I think it's important to discuss that after the game today and going forward.
So a free kick for Iran. We're about 90 seconds away from full time, and it's going to be a left-footed in-swinger from out by the right-hand touchline. England have got 2 in a wall. Paralan Ganji smacking it in. Safi, in fact, it was with the delivery in the end, and then more good goalkeeping, punching it away. An Iranian player ending up at sitting down inside the 6-yard box. An angry reaction. 3 England players turned. Don't know whether something was said, but 3 England players turned and looked at him, and there was a quite heated conversation just for a moment there.
He just wanted, I think he wanted a penalty for bullying, obviously, Shaw.
Did you not see what happened in the first 3 minutes of the game?
Was a bit nonplussed with that.
England, if you're just joining us, we felt should have had a penalty for both Maguire and Stones being wrestled to the ground as England had the first corner. Nothing was given. This is being looked at, though, by the VAR. Leonardo Gonzalez, the Uruguayan official. Now, we talked, when the first one wasn't given, about the need for consistency. And we haven't seen a replay as yet, but I can't imagine that there was anything, he's going to give it. He's going to come over to the monitor and have a look. Now, there is a clear need for consistency. We saw the Stones and Maguire one inside the opening 3 minutes of the game. This has clearly got to be worse than that for this to be given, you would think. Whether it will be or not, we haven't seen a replay as yet. The Brazilian referee has raced over to the monitor to have a look at this. It's just a ball that's swung inside the penalty area. And they're saying it's a pull of the shirt by Shaw or Stones. There is Stones stuff. Pull the shirt. The Iranian player gets sandwiched in between Stones and Shaw. Well, that's nothing like what happened in the opening stages of the game, which was much more of a penalty than this. I think if the original incident hadn't happened in the game, you could say, well, I can see possibly that would be given, but there is no consistency if this is given as a penalty.
No, to be fair, this is a 2 out of 10 for a penalty. Maguire's was an 8 out of 10.
He's given it. Penalty to Iran.
Just makes a mockery of VAR, to be quite honest with you, Jim.
Well, that is extraordinary. That is... Well, I'm speechless. I just don't understand how that can be given when the one so early in the game wasn't. He made the run in between Shaw and Stones. There was a pull of the shirt. Stones had his hand on the shirt. There's no contesting that. But that will be talked about. England will not be happy with that. It is only going to be an academic footnote in the game. But it's a chance for Jordan Pickford to have another moment that will enhance his World Cup catalogue. It's going to be Taremi against Pickford with an opportunity to give Iran a second goal right at the end of the game. Pickford bobbing up and down on his line, clad in all yellow, just turns and spits over his left shoulder. Taremi standing motionless. It's a straight run up towards the ball. He stands on the edge of the penalty area. The whistle has blown. He's being told to get on with it by the referee. And now finally gets into his stride and comes up and hits it right-footed, and he sent Pickford the wrong way. No celebrations from the Iranian players. Taremi receives the ball as it ricochets back off the net. There is no penalty save for Jordan Pickford. It's a controversial award of a spot kick in the first place, and it means that this is going to end England 6, Iran 2.
I've got to say, I've managed teams going into tournaments, and we have these referee meetings where they say we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and you don't expect within the first 90 minutes of the second game that all of their directive goes out the window. It's absolutely ridiculous, to be quite honest with you. And Gareth's not happy, been over to the fourth official, and I think the game's over.
It was a Taremi penalty with the last kick of the game, and it's meant that England have beaten Iran by 6 goals to 2. Now Southgate and Carlos Queiroz in praise. That will just sour things a little bit as far as England are concerned, because they will feel the injustice of it. But the bigger picture is that it's a night in which England, coming into the game on the back of 6 without a win, have scored 6. Too many Taremi goals in the second half might have taken a little bit of the gloss off it. It is underlined that there is still room for improvement, but this has been a great night for England. Off to a winning start in the World Cup again, as they were 4 years ago when they needed a stoppage time winner from Harry Kane. They got the job done in the first half tonight. Bellingham, Saka, scoring twice. Sterling, Rashford and Grealish all on the score sheet. A wonderful England performance that has laid the foundation for the 2022 World Cup campaign. It's finished. England 6, Iran 2.